Good morning and welcome to another episode of Brexit Breakfast. Well, the big news this morning is that Nigel Farage has resigned as member of UKIP, and that leaves a little bit of a vacuum. They've got to think about putting in a new leader. Talking of leaders, we have got Gove and Leadsom neck and neck in the race for second place. Now, some of Theresa May, she's clearly the front runner. Some of her supporters are worried about Leadsom, and they are considering, rumour has it, that because it's a kind of 10 in the bed scenario with the Tory leadership election. Basically, there is a vote to eliminate one candidate from 5, it goes down to 4. The 10 in the bed scenario, you get rid of one and roll over, and we get rid of another one with a second ballot, and then it whittles down. Eventually, they whittle 5 down to 2 competing candidates. Now, what May's supporters are concerned about is that Leadsom is becoming an increasingly credible alternative candidate. She might unify the the Brexit support. It was initially Boris that was going to come through on a as they saw it, a dream ticket to get the Brexit campaign well and truly running, to run the Brexit government. He's ruled himself out. Gove has got a cloud over him because of his disloyalty to Boris, to lack of loyalty to Boris, and he's running himself, but he's suffering because of that. Basically what the rumour has it that some of May's supporters are considering defecting, lending some of their votes to the Gove campaign to ensure, get this for political shenanigans, to ensure that Gove comes ahead of Leadsom in the ballot. And therefore they see the ticket, the May ticket, as having a better opportunity of defeating Gove as the other alternative candidate when the ballot gets down to 2 than if it was Leadsom. So that is entirely possible, isn't it? This strategic voting before this is the MPs who are going to vote on these initial hurdles to get 5, the 10 in the bed votes from Tory MPs to get 5 down to 4, down to 3, down to 2, and then the membership of the Tory party, the entire membership will vote on those 2. So shenanigans. Nigel Farage. Do we need to spend much time? He's caused all this chaos. He's been instrumental in stoking up anti-immigration fear, which was always there, but he's done a fantastic job of stoking up racism and bigotry against foreigners, and making that really the main engine of the Brexit campaign. Okay, so they've all been making speeches. I might link to this up here or here. I'm not sure which way around it's going to be. You'll see some links coming in to some of the speeches these candidates have made. Andrea Leadsom, sorry, I still can't get her name right. Her speech was described as lead balloon. It didn't go down very, very well. Some other interesting news related to the resignation. The resignation of Nigel Farage is, and this is interesting, Aaron Banks was a major UKIP donor, and he's the leader of the UKIP, the Leave EU group. He has, there's been lots of noise in recent days that he is withdrawing his substantial support. I mean, he was one of the biggest political funders of recent times. He gave a staggering amount to the UKIP, the Leave campaign. He's looking, he by the way is the founder of Go Skippy and Southern Rock Insurance. He is taking his support and considering setting up an alternative political party. So my first thought was, Farage, who professes that he's had enough of politics, just literally he's marched to victory and he suddenly decides he's had enough now and he wants to go fishing or something. But my feeling is that he might suddenly reappear as the leader of the new political party funded by Aaron Banks, because they must have been in bed together, mustn't they, with this funding issue. Okay, so that's that. Now, the leader, going back to the Tory leadership campaign, you have got some division on the rights of foreign nationals living and working in this country. Presumably, they are working, paying taxes, but Theresa May has gone on record as saying we cannot give any guarantee. I think, again, this is her pragmatic side letting her down. What she is probably, as a very experienced cabinet member, she's one of the longest serving Home Secretaries of recent years, she is aware that any negotiation with the EU nationals living in this country would have to be balanced by an agreement taking account of the 1 million Britons living abroad. So she cannot give assurances like Leadsom is doing and Gove is doing about although it's great to actually say they should have rights, and I did say this yesterday, it would be despicable for us to consider that they shouldn't retain their EU national identity and their rights of residence here, especially if they've been living here and have set up families here and have lived here for many years and they're contributing. But May, again, is probably being very pragmatic, her supporters certainly think so, in saying that any agreement about any assurances, she can't make any assurances about the EU nationals living in this country because those assurances would be dependent on mutually agreed assurances from our EU partners, who would also have to agree that the British nationals working abroad could retain their rights to live abroad. And as we have said, up yours, to the rest of the economic community, they would be quite within rights to say, well, I'm sorry, but unless you can guarantee the rights of British citizens in your country, we cannot guarantee the rights to remain of your citizens in our country. It could go either way. So that's being used as a stick to beat May with, because the more, the higher moral view would be to unequivocally come out and say, these people have got rights. Anyway, so that's that. Now then, research is suggesting that about 1.2 million Leave voters, big sigh with this, 1.2 million Leave voters are now regretting their vote. Polls have been done. That's 7% of the people who voted for Brexit. 1.2 million is pretty significant because that's the amount of majority they had. That's why we're in this pretty pickle, this mess in the first place, is because of the 1 million the 1 million majority. Remember, 17 million voted Brexit, 16 million voted stay from those people who were eligible and voted. So Dominic Grieve, who's a Conservative MP, who was the government's chief legal advisor, has said that it would be totally illegal to regard the initial referendum that's just taken place is advisory only. The government could choose to not proceed down the route of Brexit, especially if public opinion turns, and that's what I would hope for as somebody who is anti-Brexit and thinks it's a terrible idea, that the public opinion turns. Not just that people who voted to remain are protesting, which is what's happening at the minute, but a significant number, and it seems that is happening. Last week, Labour MP Geraint Davis, he tabled an early day motion suggesting a referendum be held whether or not any negotiated Brexit package went ahead, because none of the major political parties had any plans, detailed plans for what happens in the event of Brexit. So on the note of the EU nationals staying in the UK and the 1 million Britons abroad staying abroad and their status, Sigmar Gabriel, who remember him, he's the German Vice-Chancellor, he suggested that remaining members should consider offering a dual national passport to any UK citizens who live in Germany, Italy or France. And that might also be the solution for some, an EU passport would be the answer to a lot of these issues, where people could be given some criteria to apply for a EU passport to enable them to have rights in different countries. Okay, now my little idea, actually, on the back of that, would be, my crazy idea would be to have virtual nationality. So to create a virtual, this is crazy, okay, so don't pay too much attention to this, but imagine if you had a virtual nation. Now you could, a passport is just a piece of paper, it's just a little document that you have. You don't even have to have a physical copy of it. It could be something that exists on your phone. So you have a virtual passport and you pay tax to be a member of this virtual state, which doesn't have any physical territory. And you would, this state would be paying taxes or paying funds on a pro rata basis, based on where their members, where their subjects, if you like, are residing. So if there were, let's say, 10,000, say the virtual state had 1 million people who wanted to be a member of this virtual state. Obviously they want to live and work in some geographical area, but the taxes that they pay to their virtual state would be apportioned out on the basis of where they live. So the governments concerned, the nations, the geopolitical nations, would receive income proportionate to the people there, but they would have rights which would insulate them from this kind of bickering that's going on. Somehow that's where my mind was wandering. Anyway, that's a crazy idea, isn't it? So here's the news for today. I've tried to keep it brief, but I see that I've already ranted on for about 12 minutes. I hope you've enjoyed today's Brexit Breakfast. I'm Paul England. Have a good day. Cheers. Bye.